Today I'm cooking Filipino Adobo, so let's talk about this Filipino dog that makes us stand out wherever we go. Welcome to another vlog slash solo podcast. I did this intentionally because, we can kill two birds with one stone. And honestly, when I was reflecting this morning, two things came up. One, it's the weekend. Both Ryan and I, he doesn't have work. I don't have client commitments. And I crave for our favorite, the Filipino Adobo. So I was like, okay, might as well. Let's cook. And while I was also reflecting this morning, I came to realize over the last couple of weeks, we've been so busy. He was so busy at work, and I got so busy with 3 clients that I have right now in my consulting practice. And I've realized that, wherever a Filipino goes, whether he becomes a Filipino American or goes to Europe or Middle East, and regardless of which field of work they will see themselves in, there is always this unique narrative or work ethics or certain professional values or quality that really makes any Filipino stand out, generally speaking, in all fields, across all different sectors. And I started to think through and really reflect on what these qualities are and how unique they are to every Filipino. So these are the 3 qualities that can be beautifully summarized by a very simple, I would call it acronym that I want to coin, and I'm calling it the Filipino D.O.G. Just like Filipino Adobo. But don't worry, Filipino Adobo is not made from dogs. Definitely not. But the Filipino D.O.G for me is all about diligence, optimism, and grit. So in this video, while I am doing my very casual adobo, I would want to marinate on those thoughts and share what made me realize that this Filipino D.O.G is a thing that makes us, our ethnicity, our demographics really thrive wherever we go. But before that, let me share my go-to adobo ingredients. So, of course, we'll have our chicken. We always go with the thighs. And then you also have our pork. This is like loin or yung parang ginagamit sa spare ribs. And because my husband requested, it's his favorite. It's not the typical thing that I put in my adobo, but we are putting gizzard and hearts. Then, of course, we have our garlic. May ganun ba? Because I'm kind of tamad. Mas madali. It's more convenient to have the chop. Of course, we have our onion. And I put chili. Of course, our laurel leaves and brown sugar. Then we'll have eggs. Then, of course, the combination of soy sauce and vinegar. And it's very easy because my style, I just mix everything and let it cook. All right, so let's talk about the Filipino D.O.G that I was talking about when I'm chopping this stuff. And I'm also having my mid-morning black coffee here. So let's start with the pork. So for me, it's important for us to realize first the history of a typical Filipino household. I think since we're coming from a third world country and based on economic history, I remember, by the way, I took up economics when I was in university. So that's one of those things that we've learned from the subject, econ dev or economic development. The parents of children who are coming from below poverty level or kahit hindi below poverty level, everyone, especially the masa in general, they think that their kids would be their investment. Sila yung what we always say na makakapagpaahon sa atin sa hirap. They will be the they will be the ticket to a successful future that will allow the families to eventually thrive, get out of poverty, because they will have good education, a good career, and a decent life, right? So that's the very typical Filipino parent mindset. So what usually happens because of that kind of thinking of parents, and typically the educational system in the Philippines is not free. I mean, yeah, may public school, but our parents would want their children to be in private schools, and it's very expensive as well. So they will teach their children to really prioritize their studies. And I'm not only talking about like studies in general, but really there is a very high prioritization of the academics. At the end of the day, you need to make sure that you learn, you have good grades in your academics, you are always answering your homework, and you complete all the tasks that are needed to make sure that you finish school with flying colors. So that sense of diligence, the first D, or the first thing in the D.O.G thing that I was talking about, is rooted from that mindset, that history, that perception, and that understanding that if you have a good education, and if you will succeed in achieving that, then your chances of having a successful future would be higher. So the level of diligence when it comes to studies of Filipinos in general is really very high. I've had the opportunity to compare because I also traveled for work. I've lived in 5 different countries right now, and I can see that the level of diligence of Filipinos, whether the kids or us, because if we're going to compare our style when it comes to how we study stuff, how we have done our schoolwork, for example, if we're going to compare it with other nationalities in general, hindi naman sa pagbubuhat ng sariling bangko, but in general, if I were to compare, Filipinos are really very diligent. So what I typically do to make it so easy, so after doing the whole chopping, I just put everything on the pot. So let's start with the pork, followed by our chicken. This is washed already. I want the whole thigh, so no need to cut it. Well, I'm putting all the meat here. Let's talk about examples of using diligence in a practical sense after school that makes every Filipino stand out, right? So because of that sense of diligence or discipline, we were able to carry that forward and bring it in the workplace or in our entrepreneurial journeys. So ultimately, before we dive into something, we would study everything. We would be very disciplined to understand how things work. We are very patient when it comes to learning the process, and we don't quickly back down because that sense of, oh, I need to figure this out, or no, there's always a way around this. If I have to just simply study it, then things will work out. Yeah, so that sense of diligence will always be there. And it's also applied in our life now, in our ventures, in our work, in our businesses, which I think is a good thing. So the next piece is what I was talking about earlier. O stands for optimism. And there is this notion in the Philippines now, because I was thinking, is it optimism or resilience? Okay, because those are 2 very different values. And for me, it's really the sense of optimism, which really is a standout, because there are a lot of other people who are also very resilient, who can bounce back and find ways to make things work. However, that sense of happiness, or that thinking that, oh, things will work out, let's think positive, or let's find ways to make things work while keeping our spirits up, while keeping our mindset in a more positive sense, that is very Filipino. And I think the reason for that is because, and I'm talking about relativity here, right? Because now that I'm living here in the States, I get to compare the conveniences, the safety aspects, those things that back in the Philippines, you have to work hard for to be able to achieve or have. But here, it's a given. It's like hygiene factors to your daily living, your daily life. And for me, being in, on you, for you to be able to have that sense of gratefulness and realizing that, oh, dati I need to work hard to achieve or have all these, right? But now everything is just like simply given, or it's part of the daily existence. And I think a lot of people in first world countries, again, not to compare in a bad way, don't realize that. And I think the beauty of it is that because we were trained to be content, to accept, to have that sense of joy in what we have. And even if what we are going through will be filled with challenges or with problems or disappointments or frustrations, we tend to find that sense of joy, that sense of optimism that things will work out. We just need to find ways to make that work. And I think we were taught as people, and it's a combination of two things. One is like culturally, we need to have that sense of sacrifice and to find joy in the stuff that we do, no matter how hard that may be. Second is because of our religion, being very spiritual, or looking at finding the answer from the higher being. So that sense of, applying our faith in everything that we do is also a very important factor that keeps us optimists. Funny how I'm saying optimist, naiiyak ako. Hindi ako naiiyak na sinasabi ko. I am teary-eyed because of this. The onion. Yeah, so I think that is a great combination that eventually results to us as Filipinos to have that sense of optimism, to have that sense of positivity, because it is grounded both in terms of how we live our everyday, but also because of that spirituality or religiosity, wherever you may find it, right? So that's the second bit that allow to really stand out, because no matter the challenges, regardless of what the problems we are facing, and there is that sense of joy and optimism. All right, let's put this here. And let me just quickly remove the tears that I have in my eyes because mahapdi siya. So we're done with the meat part, the onion siya. Yan na siya. So let's add the garlic. So typically, depending on the size of the serving, we love garlic. So I put quite a lot, 2 teaspoons, 3. So if you want to see how fine it is, 4. You know what? Be generous. Let's do that. Now let's move on to the last bit, which is grit. Because for me, that part is also very important, because even if you've studied so hard by being diligent and you're always an optimist because you have that very positive, energetic spirit, without grit or without what we call diskarte, that feeling that you can do it, you will persevere, no matter the ups and the downs, the roller coaster of emotions and of experiences. We would always find that drive to pick things up, do the things that we need to do, move forward, not necessarily just move on, but move forward and find the solutions and be action oriented. So quite a lot of things to unpack there. So for me, before we do that, our combination of vinegar and soy sauce first. Okay. So what I usually do here is it's 1:1. That's the ratio that I typically do. So let's just simply put on our measuring cup. This is 1 cup. Tama ba? Yeah, it's 1 cup. Tansya. Yeah, because the ratio really depends on the amount of meat that you put in. And I'm also the type who wants a bit of sarsa or sabaw. Hindi man super sabaw, pero I don't want a dry adobo. So, 1. 2. Let's try 2 muna. 2 cups. And then you do the same thing for your vinegar. 1 or 2. You know what? Because we're gonna look at it, hindi siya ganun kadami. So we need to add 1 more cup. So it's 3 cups. We'll do 3 cups each. 1/3 cup of vinegar and 1/3 cup of sauce. And that's it for the liquid. Then we're gonna add sugar. So typically my style would be if the vinegar and the soy sauce would be 1:1. The sugar, brown sugar, is always 0.5 for me. So if this is 3 cups for the vinegar and the soy sauce, the sugar would be, okay, do the math correctly, it would be 1.5. Okay, sugar, this is 1 cup, okay, and 0.5. Or let's be generous, make that almost 2. Kailangan super sakay. Admit, put your sugar onto the mixture again as well. Yeah, so let's talk about grit. So in the workplace, there are some people who would say that this is impossible. Let's give up. Let's close this. Let's end this. Filipinos would typically argue that no, we need to persevere. We need to power through. And they will always find creative ways, solutions that are not very traditional. I think because we were wired to be resourceful, again, coming from our discipline and our training from a third world setup where not everything is given to us. We have to work hard to get what we need. So I think that's where the grit, the diskarte would follow or will come in, because no matter what, we are driven, we will find ways, we'll be creative, we'll be resourceful, we will make things work. So same goes in our workplace, in our businesses, or in opportunities that we experience. If there are, for example, rejections from clients that you're trying to win, or disappointments at work, if you say, for example, didn't get promotion, if you got laid off, you will continuously power through. You will pick yourself up. You'll have that sense of grit. You'll have that sense of resourcefulness, creativity, and you will make things work. That's the very Filipino spirit that we have on that aspect. So, the thing is to have your panghala ready. Before that though, let us add our last 2 ingredients. So I usually put a bit of chili. I'm not a really spicy eater, but just to have that kick this much. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're gonna put our bay leaf. I love bay leaves. I put a lot, honestly. So let's see here. I would literally put a lot. Okay, let's put it there. Then, whenever I cook adobo and my family or friends would eat, they will always tease me that yan na yung adobong dahon. Kasi I really love the bay leaves. It adds, not really flavor, but the aroma that makes adobo adobo. So the next thing that we're gonna do after that, we need to mix it. So this is the thing that really inspired me to talk about the Filipino D.O.G earlier. When we're mixing the adobo, you would notice that we had soy sauce that makes adobo salty. We have vinegar that makes adobo sour. And we have brown sugar that makes adobo sweet. And we added chili as well to make it a bit spicy. And we've added laurel leaves to have that aroma that makes that full sensorial experience of what adobo can really be. And for me, so is life. And if we will be able to embrace, enjoy, appreciate, love, accept, and find ways to be diligent, optimistic, and gritty, then we will live happy lives, content, peaceful, and filled with gratefulness every single day. And I think that's the superpower of every Filipino who intentionally and continuously embraces that kind of dog mentality. So I hope that, whether or not you're Filipino, but you're hearing this, try it. Might work for you as well. Okay, so after mixing that, so it's well mixed now, we will just cook it. Again, I'm lazy. I'm not a really good cook. This is so easy because you just put it here and it will be ready after about an hour, I would say. So put it as number 5. So it's there. Okay, let it cook. But it's not finished yet. Okay. Meron pa tayong isang important thing to add and to do. Because I love my adobo to have eggs. Ang ganyan pakulo. So, we will boil 6 eggs. So, put it in a tiny pot that can fit 6. See this? Water. And I actually like not super boiled. I typically do a half cook. Or soft boiled. And let those cook. So yeah, that's the very simple way that I do my adobo. And probably later we're going to show the finished product. But I hope you got something from this rambling. But I think to me that's very important because it's our opportunity to really embrace and reflect and share what has worked for us. And that's the reason why I'm doing this. I mean, I love content creation now. I find time and ways to do it. And I think what I am hoping to now share, especially every time I do these solo podcasts or solo content, is to share my reflection. And hopefully, it allows you to think, it compels you to also reflect on how it can be applicable to you or not. We also love constructive criticism or constructive debates, and we can grow and learn from each other. Let's make Primo a part of this content because he is the real, well, he's not a Filipino dog, but he is living with 2 Filipinos. That makes him a Filipino dog. So I hope that you learned something from today, not only how to prepare adobo, but also at the same time, understanding what Filipino dog is all about. And that is diligence, optimism, and grit. If you think that that will help you, inspire you, make you productive, and make a tiny bit of your day filled with more joy and more contentment or more peace, try to do it. Give it a shot. Right, Prim? Look at how peaceful he is. Thanks, everyone, and hope to catch you again soon.